build a camp or see if the camp's empty, trying to form the camp, trying not to pull and get multiple aggro, trying not to get slept while you're pulling and get killed, trying not to run out of mana as a healer, and the healer doesn't have to run around the dungeon all the time, which I swear to God, running around the dungeon and trying not to fall in things totally takes your eyes off the bars all the time. But in FFXI, you're constantly watching the bars. I'm like one of the best healers in FFXI because I constantly watch the bars. You don't have to do anything. You're sitting there. All you do is sit down to get your mana back, stand up to cast heals, sit down to get your mana back, stand up to cast heals. You're not looking around for pitfalls or traps or pop aggro. That's the puller's job. You're trying to look at the fucking bars and keep that tank alive, because without the tank, guess what happens? The mob kills the tank, and because you can't kill that mob before, all 6 of you wailed on it for 3.5 or 4 minutes, right? If the tank's dead, where does it go next? It goes to the priest. And it kills the priest in 2 hits, like it always kills the priest in 2 hits. And so the priest is like, no! And they're like running because they know they take 1 hit and their bar's down to 25%. And they're like, oh no, this elite killed me in 1 hit. And they're running, right? And they fade. And they fade to the mage. And the mage is insta-jibbed because the mage was standing on the mob trying to Frost Nova, right? And that's the WoW gameplay that they sometimes see in raids and like dungeons and stuff that they couldn't bring to the real world for some fucking possible reason. And now they committed to doing an entire another generation of WoW classic that they didn't fix, which is so forced sociality. And I admit that it is hypocritical of me to say that they should force partying in as a streamer, because I only solo, right? I mean, I go in dungeons if it's new content and I feel like it's advantageous, more advantageous for me to do so than not, so kind of thing, it really compels me kind of thing. But I don't go looking for dungeon gameplay, because all it does is remind me that I'm not playing FFXI in a good system where I don't have to run around and do walking sim all the time. I can just sit down as a healer like in Overwatch, right? You get to the fucking point, you pick a peak, and you watch your team. Yeah, I mean, you might try to kill people and you're kind of shooting at people and stuff and trying to do damage, but mostly you just park at the point and you move various ways around the point and you shift and you rotate, but you don't really have to travel or go down some linear line or anything like that, like piece of shit single player games. You can actually tune out, watch their bars, see what they're doing, follow them around, make sure you're in range, have LOS, and you shoot those anti-darts at them or they won't hit, and that kind of thing. And Overwatch got what 20 years of WoW couldn't manage to do, which was force sociality in a 5 or 6 man party. And that's why they chose the 5 or 6 man party, exactly like Final Fantasy XI. Many MMOs rip off Final Fantasy XI and EvE. So now my issue is, if you want all your billions of dollars back and your 16 million concurrents and stuff that WoW did 15 years ago but can't seem to do now, you have to force us to talk to each other. You wouldn't have all this fucking weird sex tumor shit in the trade chat if these people actually respected the people that they played with. But they don't, because they solo everything they do, and when they encounter the people, those people don't know how to play their class because they don't sit in parties all day and they have no social pressure to learn to play their class. In FFXI, it's very rare to get to 75 and still see somebody who doesn't play their class perfectly. I'm talking perfectly, like they don't have the rotation, they like and the reason is because they're forced to do it. They're in a party with 6 people, and if that warrior does no damage, everybody will die. The entire party wipes, exactly like raid bosses. Fuck raid bosses. After learning that all I ever needed my entire life was 6-man parties and camps from FFXI, I look at raids as the worst goddamn waste of goddamn creative effort in the history of mankind. You must have sunk billions and billions and billions into it. All the research and development for that bad gameplay loop. Well, you could have just made 6. Well, I mean, keep the raids, but you shouldn't have focused on them the way you should have focused on the leveling. It should take 3 days to get out of Teldrassil, and you should have been in 5 XP parties to get to level 14 before you can leave. I really full-heartedly believe this, and a lot of people say, "Oh, you just want to slow down the game." No, I don't want to slow down the game. I want to force the sociality so the warlock actually cares to hand out the hellstones instead of dissing his LFR buddies. The mage actually cares to give you water if you're the priest, because if the priest runs out of mana because they didn't bring enough water, the tank will die, and all 5 of you will have to run back to the camp. And if it was a good game, it would erase a sixth of your XP bar. You would lose like 4 bars or 5 bars if you died, right? So people really fucking care if they die. It's kind of like Rust. It's high, you know, like FFXI. If you die, you lose like a quarter of your level, and up at level 70, that's 6 or 8 hours of partying. So you really fucking care about a 6-man party. You care that the rogue is pulling 2 mobs. There's none of this slipshod shit. Oh, the rogue pulled, but evasion will just give him his borrow power enough to live through the attack, and everything's fine. He ran evasion. We don't have to do anything. Don't even bother healing him, right? That's the average like WoW attitude and shit. But in FFXI, everybody in that fucking party is freaked out and standing on that mob. The priest is healing. The black mage just stopped nuking and he switched to his sub job, and he's ran divine seal, and he's running cure 3 on that fucking mage because, or sorry, on that fucking rogue, the puller, and they're saving the puller because they know if the puller dies, they've got 5 to 10 minutes before they can pull another mob again. And they've got 5 or 10 minutes, and maybe if the rogue dies, they don't have enough damage to kill the mob before the mob kills the tank. You just dumped a bunch of mana on the rogue, but the rogue died anyways, and now you don't have enough mana to heal the tank. All 6 of you wipe. You've got to walk all the way back from Dalinar for 4.5 minutes or whatever, and then you get to the camp, you get your mana back up, you rebuff, you redo everything like raids. But see, the problem is they built that kind of gameplay in only dungeons. They needed to make the entire world of Azeroth like a forced sociality experiment where by the time that you're 25, you know every person in that zone, you party with them, you like them, you've talked to them all, or at least said hello to every single one of them. You know what the mages are named because you need teleports, and you can maybe bug them and get a free one because you healed them for 4 hours yesterday. That's the goddamn sociality of FFXI that was superior still in the private scene to the $2 billion they sunk into Classic. A fucking private server did in Final Fantasy XI for essentially free what cost Blizzard $2 billion to do. And I've been telling them for 7 fucking years. I've been telling anybody who cares to listen. I've been talking for 2 years on the fucking stream about this. Forced sociality, like a raid, but out in the real world all the time. So camps are taken. That's bitchy. If it's a horde, if it's a horde party and they've taken your camp and you're an alliance, you get in a good 6v6 brawl. Or 5v5 brawl, whatever party is. You get in a good 5v5 brawl, and they've already got a mob, but you don't, and you want that camp, right? And you want to take the camp, and you feel like you've got better players than them, right? So you gank their tank, and now the mob's on the priest, and it's short work after that, right? And that was the thing that Warcraft supplied that Final Fantasy XI and Final Fantasy XIV and ESO and all the other theme parks couldn't truly provide, which is real PvP based over XP. Like XP politics and money politics and like sovereign like land politics and guild keep politics and stuff like Rust, right? That's all missing from modern MMOs too. All they want you to do is stay solo, level to cap, and bitch about how you're not having fun because they don't want to spend time actually thinking about the solution to their $1 billion problem or whatever. Yeah, it's forced sociality. It's a really simple fucking thing. Anybody who was actually worthy of working at Blizzard would have known what FFXI was. None of the people currently working for Blizzard are actually worthy of working at Blizzard. I wholeheartedly believe this because I doubt they've ever even played FFXI. They don't know that there's a better model out there that did it the same time they did it, but much better, and there's more dedicated people to the classic scene in FFXI than there is in WoW because it's a better fucking system. You know what I'm saying? So and also retail, I think at the time, I'm fairly sure FFXI retail is doing more than WoW retail is right now because of SoD and Classic, right? But I'm fairly sure, how is a game that's like 1/10 of the graphic quality, 1/10 of the combat quality, 1/10 of all the quality essentially, except for the music, right? And but they got forced sociality right, and that's something that EverQuest got too. And the whole reason I did this 25-minute spiel, I'm going to get around to it finally. The whole point, the main thesis statement of this long, drawn out, retarded fucking like fucking rant, right, is He, as a streamer with 10,000 subs, doesn't know the forced sociality thing because he didn't play enough games. I do. I can tell you why. It's forced sociality, and I've been telling them for so long that I don't even want to bother them. It's forced sociality that they're missing. You should know this. If WoW players had to make a 5-man party to kill level or 5 or higher mobs at a camp like FFXI or EQ, you'd have the forced sociality. You'd have the quote-unquote forced sociality that you seem to have on your tongue but can't come to directly. The forced sociality on a level 12 Dunes party on FFXI private server Horizon is far more fun, or EQ is far more fun than the last 15 years of Blizz games combined. They stopped the forced sociality past level 10, and it killed MMOs in 2015 until they can either do public raids, competently, like New World or EvE, or they can redo Azeroth for 5-man party leveling and survive. Fuck Blizzard for not knowing that. No, I'm sorry. F Blizz for not knowing it. They don't deserve it anymore. One must but study, truly study, Square Enix's true history to know it. Blizz are noobs, I'm certain of it. Make games, don't make games. Don't play them. Okay, now I fixed the problems. Sociality. I mean, I took the time like a responsible streamer, and I tried to tell him what he's trying to put, he's getting 35,000 views on something that he can't truly explain. I could explain it better than him. If you take the forced sociality of forced parties out of MMOs, you don't have anything. You've got a piece of shit theme park that drives like men to become lonely. How do you think a lot of these men met their wives? They were healing parties they were in. I'm sorry, but it's true. Like, at least in the WoW scene and the FFXI scene and stuff. So just, like, understand. Like, that forced sociality is what's missing. But it's sheer blind incompetence. Truly been excellent instead of just good. Killed my dream.
Be it, perhaps, or hell, going to the grocery store and realizing literally everyone is moving their carts at like maybe half speed and they seem to be multiplying around every damn aisle. That's the feeling I often got in newer MMOs. It perhaps didn't feel quite as keen without the wide open empty spaces, but the bite of loneliness was there when I spent 30 hours in Elder Scrolls.
Wide open spaces full of mobs are really awesome when you have an XP party and you're camping. Otherwise, it's worthless in walking sim, like most theme parks. Sure, it's cool at the monuments for the quest areas and stuff, but walking there sucks. There's really no reason to spend that much time in a walking sim. You should just have them parked somewhere and have a puller pull mobs to the party. That's what RPGs always were. That's what D&D is. That's what FFXI is. That's what EverQuest is. That's what any good MMO actually is. That's what FFXI Private is. You made theme parks in this single-player solitary ghost crawler experience of like BM Hunter or whatever, and I'm sorry, but no. Nope. You ruined it. Sorry. Very congested because I harmed my throat this week and keep catching air because of the mucus. It's annoying.
Or 150 hours in New World. Yes, I have played over 150 hours.
Shit, New World I played. Let's go see. Uh-oh. This is always funny. Uh-oh. Let's go look at this. New World, huh? Yeah. Oh, God. 1,200 hours. Oh, God. What is wrong with me? I have an addiction. It's vagina.
Or 100 hours in Star Wars: The Old Republic. It was there when I grinded through the main story quest in Final Fantasy XIV with only a few pockets of social interaction.
But I won't get that playing 1,200-hour New Worlds.
When I jumped in a dungeon crawler. Being
Maybe I will, who
lists
knows?
of tasks to do gave me the progression so many of us seek in MMOs, a key tenet of them. But the social component? Entirely lacking. MMOs for quite some time now have felt this way. And I don't think it's going to change. No matter how many MMOs come out with these ideas of creating social...
There was something else I wanted to say on my comment that I didn't. You should be allowed to solo if you want on a pet class. But it should take 10 times the amount of time. BM Hunter wasn't good. Yep, that's good. There we go. That's what I meant to say.
And I don't necessarily think it's their fault.
It is their
Because
fault.
after all
It is their fault. It's so their fault. That's
is go back to the time when the last time that I really got enmeshed in an MMO. Back when I was playing EverQuest in a raiding guild, raiding 2 to 3 times a night, keeping up with progression in a guild where we were able to field raids of up to 70 people quite regularly, and had a lot of people engaged in chat all the time. Surely that time, from roughly 2016 to 2020, that was a time when I didn't feel lonely in the MMO at all, because there were so many people to play with in a game that actually made it important to play with those people. Surely I didn't feel lonely there, right? Except I did. How though? How could I feel lonely when I was constantly getting all these pings from Discord? Except that's part of it. I was being pinged in Discord, not getting tells in the MMO.
Yep.
You see, this is where the crux of the issue, or the solution, comes in. EverQuest, which was once known as the prettiest chat room, was now the ugliest phone call in an age of text messaging. You didn't organize in EverQuest to do something social. You didn't log in and find your friends to do things with. You messaged them off of the game in Discord, asked them if they wanted to log in. You set up reminders or alerts for raid days. You gathered everyone up in voice channels to make communication easier when you were in that raid. Yes, there are of course outliers to this, but generally, that's how it worked. You organized away from the game itself because it worked better. But I do have to pause here to single out one thing that is not a solution to this. Everyone who's trying to, every MMO out there that keeps trying to put voice in MMOs, like a voice channel specifically for that MMO, just stop. Just stop doing that. That is not the key. Unless you're creating, like, the only time I can think voice in a game is worthwhile is when you are using it.
I disagree. I think the voice in the game is also incredibly important, and they fucked that up incredibly bad. The only people I've ever seen do it right is ESO and Rust, and it was really, really good in ESO. It was genuinely fucking good. It was, like, really good. I don't care what he says. I think he's antisocial. Saying that VoIP is bad is antisocial. That is ridiculous. If you now, the problem with voice in a theme park is nobody uses it because they dislike each other all the time. But if you actually like the people that you're in the party with because they got you XP for 3 hours, you'll open up and you'll start talking to them and you'll meet all these people from other cultures and it's awesome, right? Trust me, voice is good. Theme park's bad. When the forced sociality is there, voice is incredibly good.
Proximity. That shit works really well and it adds atmospheric things. But if you but just like this, basically like slapping on a very crappy version of Discord, basically making Ventrilo or TeamSpeak come back into the MMO, just it's a waste of your time and ours. Please stop. So it was here with this realization, this understanding of how the most social MMOs I ever played had completely changed in how I interacted with them after playing the games for years, on and off for 20 years. That, coupled with the already present understanding that the current generation of MMOs lean very heavily into task-oriented solo or proximity play rather than deeper social connection, I really began to understand and realize something. It's not just that MMOs aren't social anymore, that the tools that they used in the past have actually just kind of been replaced and are not really needed as much anymore. That they are kind of, in a lot of ways, something from a bygone era. A way of communicating online that is become archaic. Again, like a fucking phone call. Please don't call people. It's awful. Just text them. But it's with the idea that all these tools are so completely outdated and things like Discord have so completely replaced them that I realized it's not just that they aren't social. MMOs are actually they might be antisocial. And I'm not just talking about
they got rid of forced sociality. It's
modern MMOs.
It's empty. It's
all MMOs. Now stick with me here because I need to explain this before you eviscerate me in the comment section. At least just give me the opportunity to make my case, and then you can tear me apart. MMOs are, by design, journeys. They're an adventure through persistent worlds where everyone is at different stages along the predetermined path. And the design of the MMO means you have to create friction along the journey to make players want to keep going down that path. Players need to feel like they have earned something over the player who started yesterday if they started 10 years ago. This is a recurring problem you see in some newer MMOs where players often feel like their achievements are cheapened. Or even in the wildly divisive choice to level squish in World of Warcraft, which raised the hackles of many players fearing they now were in some way lesser because their achievement, the journey had shrunk. The path between where they were and where someone new was starting, it shrunk. Something that was done, in a sense, to also kind of help with that issue of being kind of antisocial. And yes, I know it was also to do with numbers, big numbers being too big and all that stuff too. But that doesn't serve my argument here, so we're just kind of forging on ahead. And this part of newer MMOs may also contribute to why players bounce off of them more than they used to. Kind of because they can. The game requires less of you, so it gives less to you. The connection isn't as strong, for better or for worse. And with more players bouncing around, that antisocial problem continues to exacerbate. But it gets worse. Because within these MMOs, there are also normally mechanics that contribute to separation by design. And while the exact look of these mechanics changes from MMO to MMO, the problem exists in them all. There can be hard barriers like in EverQuest, where a level 10 cannot group with a level 25, or in Elder Scrolls Online, despite its level agnostic features, with vertical gear progression as well as single player story progression. Haven't purchased the super awesome, mega super awesome story pack that has both platinum and goldanium loot boxes in it? Well then, get good, kid. It also shows up in softer barriers like game knowledge. Don't know how to execute your Daiko in the 2 seconds you have in EverQuest on the raid? Well, you're excluded. Don't understand the giant flaming ball of doom with a side of existential dread in Warcraft? Gone. Haven't earned flight yet in Guild Wars 2? Catch up with us later. MMOs are less about inclusion and more about exclusion. And to many, that's not a bug, it's a feature. It cannot be extracted from the DNA of an MMO because the MMO is shared. The MMO is designed in a way that encourages different levels of competition throughout its persistent world, even when we're not fully aware that we are competing. Why else would we all care so damn much to make sure that the game is balanced, that our class is balanced, that our leveling is balanced, that everything is as balanced as it can possibly be? Why do we want the playing field to be so fair?
Your body
in an
looks
MMO?
worn and your spirit weary.
Because we're essentially always, in some way, either competing or comparing ourselves to other players in the game.
Not me. I'm not fucking vacuous like that. I have and never could give two living shits about gear beyond the information that it can provide me as to what to wear. I don't give a living shit what someone's gear or skill or hours are. I've always fundamentally believed that we're all equal. So when you actually aren't biased, it's actually this wonderful, wonderful thing. Everybody is fucking equal, so I don't give a two living shits what their gear is. They're exactly equal to me. They're of no better value to this insignificant speck of dust flying through this insignificant speck of dust space, and we're just this insignificant speck of dust on this insignificant speck of dust, and you're equal to me. I don't give two living shits if you have a year's more gear than me or whatever. And sure, you're probably gonna beat me in a 1v1, but I don't care. I don't care about it. I'm not going to look at you and think, ew, I'm jelly. Jealousy isn't something I do. I can't remember. Okay. I'm jealous when, like, everybody else in the world can do their career but me. But that's about it. That's about the only jealousy I have that I can think of. Like, I don't even have the love of my life anymore to another man. I'm not even jealous of him, you know? I don't care. I don't care. Everybody's fucking equal. Whatever. He was just lucky and didn't have some man fucking threaten to kill her like I did. So, good on him.
Whether we are working together towards a common goal and think that we should be contributing more with our class or less, or this person shouldn't, or if we're just thinking, hey, you know, like, I really don't like the way this is going with class balance and everyone is shifting over here, but I want to play here. Leveling speeds, gear, achievements, knowledge, zone access. There are myriads of ways MMOs do this, but it all comes down to one thing: barriers, and somewhat necessary barriers. It's a key part of the RPG DNA of progression, and it's why people play MMOs in the first place and why so few of them lean toward more horizontal progression. People like to progress, and in the shared world they want it to be balanced progression, because competition, racing, fighting against each other in PvP, basically any kind of some form of competition in some way. Think about, like, take this thought experiment here. Think about how often either you or someone you know who plays an MMO has said something along the lines of, yeah, well, when I got to max level, it was harder. How many fans of EverQuest have, for example, brought up hell levels and how they had to level that way? Or how on progression servers, things are easier than they were when they played. Think about how people talk about WoW Classic as being the difficult WoW, compared to current WoW, which is too easy. There is a constant push and pull of trying to compare our achievements within an MMO, even if they might technically be the same achievement. But compare that to other social games that don't bear the massively title. A first-person shooter with multiplayer that actually has a matchmaking system that tries to put you directly with people on the same point of their journey as you. A survival co-op game that shrinks the server size down to 50, 25, or even 10 players, but may provide a similar but truncated path that an MMO provides. In this style of game, it's less like an endless marathon through New York with hundreds or thousands of runners, and more like a high school track with 10 runners who probably all know each other. The journey is shorter, and thus the barriers are less egregious. The competition may still exist, and often does as a primary driver of engagement with games like this, but in smaller bites. The comparison will always be there. Well, this was harder before the nerf. That's not what I'm talking about. More about the fact that it's kind of shrunk down. So it makes it a little bit easier to be social. And before you get mad in the comments, I'm not saying that these games are inherently more social than an MMO, just saying that it kind of highlights the difficulty in trying to make a game social that has this many types of barriers. And when they do have barriers, they're a bit more permeable. They don't require the same kind of investment, so they don't need you to be online all the time. In fact, they actually rely on those third-party tools like Discord to actually have that socialization. They aren't social in game because they don't really have to be. It's not a core function despite what you might hear in a Call of Duty lobby. MMOs used to be where you would go to find the friends. It's where I went to go to find friends because I was an awkward as hell kid that had no idea how to socialize. I still don't yet in a lot of ways, but I got a little bit better. But I found myself through the text and anonymity of grouping up with Sephiroth SSJ4 and Drist, definitely not Jordan 23 on EverQuest in the early 2000s. But now I can find those same people in, say, a Co-Carnage Discord or a Twitch stream chat. The tools we have to find and connect with people of similar interests online have grown exponentially since the time when
Co-Carnage Discord. Oh my god. People with too much time on the internet.
Those were the premier source of being social with purpose. You aren't finding friends in MMOs anymore. You're bringing friends to the MMO.
I've been asked like 50 times, do you have a Discord? Do you have a Discord? And I'm like, fuck no. Fuck no. The last thing I will ever have is a public Discord. No. That is my idea of a nightmare. Sounds like Reddit. No thanks. They're like, you're not like any other streamer, are you? And I'm like, no. Well, a couple times now, like 5 or 10 times now, I've also had other people. I had my friend Tay came, but he wasn't the only one. I've had like 5 or 6 people be like, why are your raids turned off? And I'm like, because I know that you found me playing Rust. This is what I said to Tay when he asked. I know that you found me while I was playing Rust, but now I'm playing Fallout 76. When they see somebody that they heard was good at Rust playing Fallout 76, they're going to make fun of me, aren't they? He didn't have an argument to that. I was like, because I mix so many games that I want the cross audiences legitimately. If you raid me while I'm playing Rust with 20 people, or one time it was like 300 people. Okay, I've had several 300-man raids, and like this was awesome, but they do it when they think that you're playing their game, and then they get unhappy when they realize that you don't play their game every single day like them. And it's all actually an imposition. It's like the whole raid system. If you're rich and you're famous and you have big followings and stuff, it's the system that benefits the people at the tops because they can hop to each other's channels and pass viewers around, right? Raids are good at the top. But when you're at the exact bottom of the fucking totem pole, you don't want people, like 300 people coming into their channel. If you're a multi-game streamer, if you're like a multi-potentiality streamer, you have like 5 different games you play, or 10 or 20 or whatever. You don't want 300 Rust players coming in that you didn't earn by playing Rust naturally, because then they're like, the minute that you go play a different game, they're gone, boom, all gone. And on top of it, they might even take the follows away. And that's why I don't want raids. It's an imposition. I didn't ask for them. I'm a multi-gamer, and I don't want 300 Just Eat people. I don't want 300 Just Rust people. I don't want people who only play one game. Does that make sense? I do. But I don't want to identify as their constituency or be in their game chats things or be in their Discords or on their Reddits or anything. Like honestly, like I don't... I don't know. Yeah, and so and they get insulted. I think Tay the first time got so insulted. He was like, I think he didn't say it to me, but I'm fairly sure he had to like explain to 10 people why I don't take raids, because he was like, I'm gonna take you to a friend of mine, Katz, who is playing Rust right now. I thought he was trying to probably really trying to help me, and then he probably embarrassed himself. He went to go take the people, probably half my clan, to be honest. He probably took the clan to come visit me. But then I was like, and then he saw that, and then he hit the wall when I was like, no raids, because I don't want people that aren't watching me for whatever it is I'm doing at the moment, and then the next day I want to lose them. Maybe they come back in 3 months and they see that I'm doing what they like again, and I want them to stay again maybe for 2 days, and then they leave because I'm not playing what they like again, and hopefully maybe after 3 or 4 or 5 years they might be willing to watch the 20 games that I like. That's the strategy. I have no interest in 300 Rust players. I have no interest in 300 EE players. Okay, if someone were to raid me right now, if Asmongold were to raid me with 375,000 WoW players, I would be extremely pissed. I'd be pissed. I'd be like, I would not be happy. You know, and every time I ever got a raid, when I had it turned on, I turned it off. Like everybody in the channel was like, "Oh, Skycat, you finally made it," and I was like, "Do you understand how really insulting that is? That my success is based off whether 300,000 people just suddenly show up in my channel and follow? That is so shallow." I don't care what somebody thinks inside of a 3-second period. That is not the kind of impression I am trying to make. And the idea of raids, unless you're Asmongold, is stupid to me. It's actually kind of dangerous. Now, it's good for lower level streamers if they're only playing one game. So, like, I think it's normal for a Rust player who likes another Rust player. Maybe they're in the same clan or something, right? And they go and they raid when they're done at night, and they bring their people to someone else's channel who hasn't gone to bed yet, right? Raids work on that level. But I should be able to turn off the raid if I don't want it and not face explanations if I do. Because it is not... raids are not beneficial to... Like, it sucks. It's like these fake... They're these fake follows from a game that you don't main, that don't really represent the interest of the people. They were just them trying to be kind to you one day. And I don't want numbers that are inflated at all. I have extremely inflated numbers because of hate raids, but I don't, not extremely, like, but half my followers are inflated because of fucking hate raids, and they do that because those people that do the hate raids, they're not dumb. They know that raids can actually be fairly harmful. They throw off your ability to be able to understand how many people you're reading. They can be a bunch of people that, oh, thank you, number 2. I feel lucky as well. And look, I didn't get notifications when you talked. How lovely. I'm so sorry. Let me go fix that. I've noticed that when I go in the settings and I run their default sound, it sometimes fixes the app. Let's see. Something. I don't know what it is, but there we go. I'm so sorry. I'm going to pull this up so I can see what you said. I feel lucky. Well, thank you, number 2. Yeah. And so, like, and whether you're here from a raid or not, like, I'm not saying the people coming in from the raid are bad. I'm saying they probably, most likely, don't actually like you, right? Even Asmongold, even up at the top, right? Let's say Pokimane rated Asmongold, right? Or something. Are Pokimane viewers going to appreciate Asmongold, right? Are people that main Rust all the time, who come into my channel on a 300-man raid, and this happened to me once, right? Are they going to like it when I'm suddenly playing WoW, SoD, EvE Online, and Fallout 76? Games that they actively fucking despise. Like, actively despise, right? Not despise, but like dislike, because it's not Rust, right? They think any game that isn't Rust is bad, trust me. So like I feel like that actually harms me. And then so let's say I get some follows and maybe I keep a few of those people and they end up staying in my staple or whatever. That's cool. I'm building a community or whatever. But it sucks that they were there for a game that I don't main. You know what I'm saying? And so then there's this effect that I got with the kids that was driving me crazy. They were like, "You gonna play Rust? You 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 gonna play Rust?" Yeah, almost once a day, every day for months on end for years. Gonna play Rust? Gonna play Rust so I can come stream snipe you? You gonna play Rust? You gonna play Rust? You gonna play Rust? All the little fucking bitch asses, fucking friends or whatever, and all this. Want to play Rust? Want to play Rust? No, I'm not feeling like playing Rust right now. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? And it's like that. And it's like, no. And then it sucks. Another thing that was bad about my effect with raids and stuff, the only raid that I kept was the 2 hours that I had CCP Trash Panda in my channel, which is a CCP developer who was just introducing himself to me. And I garnered 300 people when they found out he was in there. And that was cool. And I got another 100-man raid once when they found out I was running an op with Absolute Order over the stream, which you can't stream non-consensual PvP. You're going to get all the neckbeard asshole haters like shoving their dicks down your throat, being like, "How dare you televise this? How dare you televise this fucking..." Jesus Christ. It's a fucking video game. But I mean, I don't want to lose. I understand them. They don't want to lose a ship. So I don't blame them. I left the corp. But I'm also like, come on, man. Who the fuck cares if they televise an op? It's happening in real time. By the time anybody gets to the fucking op, it's over. Any stream snipers trying to get to the fucking op, it's going to take them so long to get there that it's going to be far, far, far over by the time anybody with actual ill intent actually reaches there. On EVE Online anyways. It won't be like that on shooters, but it is like that on EVE Online. Who the fuck cares about stream sniping? I mean, giving away the corp strategy about where they're going is bad. But I mean, that day when I left Ab Order, I had asked the GM, I was like, can I stream your, he asked me, would you like to come to our op? And I was like, no, thank you, but no. And he was like, why? And I was like, well, I am a streamer and I stream full time 24/7 and I don't want to spoil your op security and give away your strategy. And he was like, oh, no, don't care about that. My corp is tight. We don't care about like leaks and stuff. And we're fighting people that already know we're going to be there and all this. It is fine. I don't care about that. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So then I televised the op and I got like 30 fucking angry boomers trying to shove their little 1-inchers down my fucking throat over something I had permission to do. And I was just like, fuck this. Fuck you guys. Fuck the corp. Fuck being shamed by 30 fucking people while there's like a raid in my channel of 100 people. Someone raided me with 100 people when they realized that I was televising an op and everybody knew I was being done by televising an op. But see, I said no to the op. And when he said, oh, please come, I was like, okay, I can't. I'm going to televise it. And he was like, that's okay. We don't care about that. He really literally said it. I did it on camera. I mean, that's what happened. And I was like, oh, really? Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, I'll televise her up then. And he was like, sweet. And then I show up and 30 angry boomers are like, get the fuck out of here. Block your chat. And I was like, no, don't you tell me what the fuck to do. I don't know you. I don't know you. And I was like, don't you tell me what the fuck to do. I don't fucking know you, motherfucker. I said that straight to their face. And on the stream, I said it in front of 100 people. I was like, don't you ever fucking tell me what to do. You are my dad. You know what I'm saying? Fucking moments. I'm a boomer. I'm 40 years old. And I have to have a fucking 15-year-old fucking moment like a child because they're man children. Don't you tell me what to do. I'm a fucking adult. Like, I'm probably older than you. Shut the fuck up is what I'll tell you to do. You know what I'm saying? Straight up on my stream, I said that to 100 people in that raid, right? All 90 of them. I had 10 viewership when I went into it. All EVE Online players who liked me, right? People that actually liked me, that were in the channel for many months, that liked me, that were there to see EVE Online and right. I had good 10 viewership, which to me is like 10 million in this age of you know, the rich people killing everybody. So, So I'm like proud about my 10 viewers and I'm doing the op and we're getting kills and we're winning and stuff. And in the middle of this fucking op, 100 people bomb my channel. And suddenly within 4 minutes, there's like 30 fucking DMs. Like, get out of this raid, block your chat. What the fuck are you doing? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, guys, I know you can hear me in my fucking channel. I have permission from the lead 750-man op. You know what I'm saying? I have permission from General Lee to do this. He told me to do it. And they're like, all right, fine, we'll block your fucking chat at least. I don't want the corp chat going out and all this shit. And I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, no, I'm gonna leave your corp. Bye. I'm gonna say fuck you. Bye. And I banned him. And then I blocked all the DMs, blocked all the people who harassed me. I moved on with my life. I started my old single-man corporation, understanding that I don't want to be around these people. They have let the game or whatever take over their fucking souls. And they're just far, far, far too serial about the only fucking game that they play. And who the fuck cares about televising a 300-man op? You don't think 300-man people aren't televising on Discords? You don't think those 300 people aren't televising? You're fucking stupid, dude. You're bad at EVE, and the shaming was retarded. Ab Order was retarded, and they thanked me by fucking ganking my Mac in their system afterwards, after giving them like $1 billion $1 billion ISK in donations, running some of their ops, teaching people how to do low sec, and being essentially a fucking corporation fucking leader, essentially. Not a leader, but a officer, right? And they offered me officer. They promoted me to officer without asking, and they knew that I was answering all the questions in the fucking corp chat, and I was trying to do the high sec corp thing because I'd never done that before, and I was enjoying the situation. It was sweet. So I get my permission. He approached me. He was like, "Why don't you come to our ops?" And I was like, "Because I don't want to televise your shit." I seriously said that to him. He was like, "Oh, we don't care about that. You're fine. We run Discords and all that stuff. Who cares?" And I was like, "I agree. I don't care either." And he was like, "Really?" I was like, "Really? Are you sure?" And he was like, "Yes." And I was like, "Okay, I'll be there. I'll televise your op. I'd love to. I'll probably get 100 viewers." And he was like, "Have a good time. Go join our corporation streamer channel. We got plenty of streamers in this channel." But it turns out there was this rule that he didn't tell me about, which is you have to block your text chat. And I was like, I absolutely, unequivocally refuse to do that. I will not do that. A, it's you telling me what to do, and I won't do that. B, like, you know, I use my screen. I actually use it. I know you sit on the game all day and you never change your UI or anything, but I use this. I move this around a lot. I switch games. I alt tab and shit. And if I have to stream block this while I'm alt tab to World of Warcraft, I get a big old black fucking box. Or and on EvE I can only block the system that I'm in, which is wiser to do. Or I can block the chat. I can't do both. I can put my face over the chat, I guess, but then I can't see any other games that I'm playing in the lower left corner, and I can't read the chat in the other games. I can move the chat around for the angry boomer, or I can tell the fucking angry boomer to fucking suck my cock, you fucking born loser. And I banned him, kicked him, embarrassed him in front of 100 people, and I said goodbye and left the fucking corp. And now I want to lecture the GM, and they thank me for by ganking my fucking Mac afterwards. All I was trying to do was mine ore. And that's what dealing with humans in the modern age, if they're angry, that's what it fucking gets you. If I sense anger in them at all, I'm just like, no, born loser, sitting in the basement, never got a wife, never got laid, angry, divorced, kids are gone, etc. Something's wrong with them, they're angry. If they're stepping like that kind of rage and shit without actual provocation like me, something's really wrong with them. They're like coming and cussing at you and shit like that, for trying to get you banned. And it's like, nah, man, you just have a bad life. You want other people to have a bad life. Who the fuck cares if somebody streams a video game? There is a million streamers on this fucking planet. If you can't stream your Rust and you can't stream your EvE, you shouldn't be in a clan anyways. You're not good enough. And it's true. Tay would say the same thing. He said the same thing later in, like a year in. He was like, "No, I don't care if you fucking stream. It sucks that they know where our base is, but I mean, we're gonna have to kill them anyways. So who the cares? It's you know, and that's my attitude too. They're gonna show up either way, whether it's stream snipe or not. So who the fuck cares if we televise it or not? Why not get famous while doing it?" Like, Tay had a good attitude towards it, and so do I. Like, these fucking boomers sitting on non-consensuals all their lives, trying to act all crab garbage towards people. Like, fuck you. It's not your business. It's not your fucking stream. I got my fucking permission, and I don't like the drama, but, like, god damn it, man. Like, I think about this stuff sometimes. I'm like, that also hurts the sociality. That's also another reason that it sucks. They're all really, really angry because they've lived solo lives, and they're not happy. So they treat me like garbage, and then I treat other people like garbage because I'm a victim of their fucking toxicity all the fucking time. I'm around them all the fucking time. So yeah, I just said goodbye. I don't ever want to party with any. I mean, I'll party with randos because randos don't usually attack me like people that I know. It's like really weird. The minute that they get to know you, they're like making fun of you and shit. And that's never been a vibe about friendship I've understood. Why are you playing Fallout 76? Oh, I don't know, but if you were my friend, you might not make fun of me for it.
Now, of course,
yeah, I like a bad game. I don't make fun of you for liking fucking Rocket League or whatever, you know?
Outliers to this. There are groups of...
Or not Rocket League, but fucking, you know what? I don't know. What's a bad game? Because Rocket League's a good game. I don't make fun of you for making... Well, I do. I don't make fun of you for liking Far Cry 6 or something. You know, whatever. Who cares? So, and I'm a multi-gamer. I came into this the multi-game. So, like, on top of it, they often poison the well with their toxicity long before good sociality occurs. And so you find these people like me, and they call us woke, right? But we're just nice people, I think, actually. They find people like me who are just trying to make positive, helpful comments in the party chat that don't bring down others and act all crab garbage and angry and gotta attack people for a living and make no money doing it or whatever. Their fucking weird retarded reality is, you know? Oh, let's go be a cyber bully. Attack people for years and get no money doing it. That's a good idea. Fucking idiots.
With the purpose of finding friends And it can't.
And it's like they go out of their way to make you feel bad. And it's like, yeah, that poisoned the well too. So now I want randos in a 6-man party that aren't likely to just attack you because you're in their trade chat or in the Baron's chat or whatever, you know? It's like the less social it gets, the less respectful the players treat each other too. Which is so bad. When you go from Final Fantasy 11 to World of Warcraft, you're like, nope, every single fucking World of Warcraft player, including fucking Asmongold, are complete, utter fucking boomer pieces of garbage that treat each other like complete shit. When you go from FFXI, or even like 14, to like World of Warcraft or Rust, you're like, no. These people are completely worthless. I don't want to know any of them. And it sucks because you do end up knowing a lot of them. But after you go from a really positive fucking place where people treat each other really well and don't deride each other and attack each other, make fun of each other all the fucking time and bring each other down all the time, like insults are a fucking currency or something, right? And you actually are among like a nice community that's interested in you winning, that wants you to, that'll give you 30,000 gil just out of the goodness of their heart because it's like they want to feel good that they helped a new player and shit, right? It's to the average WoW player, and you're like, no, fuck you, you're all the same. And you end up, and this is wrong, right? You don't want to do this. You don't want to lump them all in some category and be like, fuck the angry boomer on WoW, right? You don't want to do this because we're not all like that. I'm like that, but not all of us are, you know? Not all of us are like that. There's plenty of good people on WoW. There's plenty of good people on Rust. There's plenty of good people on every single game and stuff. But most of the people on WoW will hit you toxic before they do anything else. I gotta say it. They're gonna hit you toxic. They're flipping over whatever you said in their mind to see if they can troll you in the trade chat before they think about a legitimate response to a legitimate question. They're looking for some way to make you look bad. That is how WoW players are. It's so competitive. It's so dumb. It's so Call of Duty. And I don't want it. I've never wanted it. It's why I don't go to their raids anymore. That's why I don't sit in their discords. Because all they do is insult each other. You know?
With extensive...
All they do is sit there and insult each other. You suck dick. You missed that shot. Blah, 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 blah. And they think that competitive shit is... I'm sorry, but I come from like a hive system, more Asian sensibility. Where competition to me means my crew fucking bested your ass through perfect communication. Their idea of communication is insulting you. It's like the East. I was raised in the East on Final Fantasy 11. It was like I grew up in Japan, and it just because, like, you know, and Japan does not have the fragmented MTV culture. To quote Rising Sun, Michael Crichton, he said it best. He said, "You might come from a fragmented, fucked up, angry, insult-based MTV fucking like competition culture, but they do not, right? Those are the people I grew up around, and I mean, I play WoW too, but I played Final Fantasy 11 first, and for 3 years of my first MMO career, I met the nicest people I'll ever meet in any MMO, and they supported me so much, and everybody was friends, and I didn't know anybody who ever even said a cuss word or anything like that. It was like a veritable fucking like anti toxic utopia of happiness and treating each other with respect, and there was no dragging anybody down, or you would get 10 people on you being like, please treat this person with respect, you are making me uncomfortable, and stuff like that, right? It's a woke person's dream. Non-fascist Republican people being nice to each other. It was a woke person's dream. Then I went to WoW, where they're making fun of you for your color, they're making fun of you for your background, how poor you are, who you run with, if you're gay, if you're happy, if you're a hippie, if you're a druggie. They're looking for whatever's wrong with you, and they're looking to make fun of you about it. Russ is the same. I never experienced this in EvE, and I never experienced it in Final Fantasy 11, and it's not where I come from. So then I see it, and I'm like, no, don't tell me what to do. If you respected other people that play the same game as you, you would have known better. You would have just respected me as a human being and not told me what to do. It brought it to the general and had him like suss out some kind of punishment or order. But no, I get a bunch of boomers who aren't even affiliated with the leadership of the corp. I'm probably more affiliated than they are, fucking yelling at them. And like, you know, and I'm like, nah, man, let the fucking GM fucking handle it, you fucking scrub noobs. You've been at this 20 years and this is how you play? What the fuck? This is how you treat people? It's unprofessional. It's like antisocial. It's toxic. Don't be jumping in, calling me names and telling me what to do after I've gotten permission from the GM or whatever. And I say, I got permission, and this mollified them. They were like, what? And I was like, I have permission to stream this raid. I was told to stream this raid. And they were like, what? And I think a bunch of them didn't even know that there was like 30 streamers. And so that same day, I joined a channel, and I've reformatted so it's gone. But I joined a channel that same day that the GM had linked to me after I left the corp. And he was like, yeah, come support these other streamers. And I pop into the channel, and there was like 30 other people streaming that fucking op. There was 30 other people streaming that op. And they came and just attacked me. I'm not kidding. I went into a channel full of 30 streamers. And I had more followers than all of them because they only played EvE and I don't. I had the most follows in that channel. I went through every name. I was like, ooh, fellow EvE players who stream. And I checked every info, and sure enough, every Twitch and every YouTube was there. One of them was more successful on YouTube than me. The other fucking 20, it was like 30 people. I went through 30 profiles and stuff. All 29 of them were streaming that fucking op. Like all 29 of them had less follows than me, and the angry boomers for some reason sussed out that I was the only one with any actual attention out of all of them. And so when they saw that I had 110 people in my channel on an EvE stream, they decided to attack. They were like, oh my god, this guy has interest. Or whatever their vibe is, and they decided to attack along the corporation guidelines. They tried to attack me on blocking the screen. They tried to attack me on the legitimacy of having the permission. They were just like, oh my god, how dare you have 100 people watching you stream this op. It just was like beyond their comprehension or something. They were like, how dare you have 100 people in this channel right now. I think was the actual thing. They were like, what? This guy's got 110 people watching our corp run. And they attacked me. The DMs were like beep 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 beep, and I was like, okay, I'm sorry, I'm leaving. G quit, kick, ban, bye. I'm sorry. I was one of the 30 people streaming the raid. You clueless boomer, angry basement dweller, neckbeard shithead cocksuckers. Say it right to your angry fucking face. Sorry. And I left the corp. I was like, if this is what's gonna happen the first time. If I start bringing like 1,000 people, because I have thousands of follows, if I start bringing 1,000 people to Corp Ops, how angry will they be then? You know, I doubt it'll ever happen, but I mean, I'm just saying, like, how angry will they be then? I think it's actually the success that bothered them. I hate to say it, but it is success when you have 110 people at your fucking channel for 2.5 hours, and you're just chilling, firing missiles at some dude, and you're not really even entertaining him. You're just trying to listen to the op in your headphones like they are, and all this, and then suddenly you get like 5 angry boomers coming in, being like, change your voice, change your chat, change your channel, change your shit, block your screen, don't play 2 games at once, get out of the corp, you're a fuck up, and all this shit. I'm like, damn, man, how long is it since you've touched grass or ass? It's been a long time. Been a few years for me myself. Been about 2.5 years, I think. But you know, like, not like you. I think it's been decades for you. I think it's been 2.5 decades for you. And I'm just saying, like, it shows. It fucking shows. I'm not coming into some fucking streamer's channel and bombing them with 30 people through DMs about blocking their text chat. Who the fuck does shit like that? And I'm right to complain, too. You know what I'm saying? I'm right to complain about that. Only idiots act like that. You know? What the fuck? Now, what happened here? Did you pop the drug? I should have it at the top of my list here. Gotta check the attributes, bonus remaps, neural remaps. I'm at 21. I did not get the AUG. Oh, I have the AUG game, but I did not get the booster. My money is not spent. I did not. Oh, maybe I did. I don't know. Let's see. Did I buy something? I think I placed the buy order is what I did, but I didn't actually buy the product itself. Yeah. That's why the money's missing. So we'll buy one of these. 87 million. Jesus Christ, man. This better be 4 days or something for that kind of price. I think it is, too. I think it's like three solid days. Let's see. Now that we're going to pop our drugs, guys. I love drugs. Here we go. Master at Arms, Cerebral Accelerator. God bless drugs. The proof that God loves us and wants us to be happy. Consume. Oh, yeah. Booster slot 10. Oh, 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 oh. Feels so good. 10 extra skill points for 3 days. Ah, 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 ah. Was it good for you, baby? Did you get there? Did you get there? I already have this license. It's worth 2 million. Nice. I put in the skins. Okay, I gotta do all this stupid sorting that I don't want to do. And I gotta get out of that sound. That sound is killing me. Then, what else? We have, I took the drugs and I have to look at how long I got. I got 2 days. Oh, no, it's 2 days. It's 2 days. I thought it was 3 days, damn it. That's still better. That's still 100% of what they initially promised. That's 54 hours. Every 54 hours, I've got to buy a Master at Arms, which is fine. That's good. We're going to switch out of this jump clone to the lesser expensive junk clone, which is my +5s, and it's not the ice harvester. Oh, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah, I don't want high wall for this. I've got to move my clones around, actually, which is sort of annoying. I guess I could clone jump back here. I guess what I'll have to do is I'll take this fancy ice clone to my staging, and I will stage both of my clones out of my mining headquarters. One for high wall mining, which is that it? No, that's not it. It's that guy. This one for high wall mining, right? And I'll move. Oh no, yeah, this is the cheaper one. Yeah, I think right now I want to take the bigger risks, but I mean, yeah, I don't think. No, wait, that's the lower ones. No, those are +3s. I want the +5s. That's the fancy clone, but where's the other one? It's this one. Yeah, there it is. +4s. Yeah, this is for both these clones need to be at my mining headquarters. I will need to transport both. And I'll use a jump back to this one, and then I'll transport back with that one. But yeah, that concludes our clone business. Well, not concludes it, but that concludes our drug business today. Yep, and now we're in the right clone. We're going to take a council diplomatic shuttle to my mining headquarters. Oh, I feel lucky you found my stream too, number 2. You've been through me through the thick and thin. Hells yeah. Hells yeah for camaraderie. It's good to have some camaraderie instead of someone trying to kill me. It's a good thing, you know. My clan was good. They were a bunch of camaraderie without the cost of someone trying to kill me afterwards. It was good. I love this fucking thing. Do I have a, can you get a skin for this? Yes, you can. Oh, fucking awesome. Ah, yeah, I knew. I was like, didn't I get a skin for this? I did. It was expensive. It was like 200 million, too. Fucking shuttle skin. But it looks so goddamn badass. It's one of my favorite skins in the game. Council Diplomatic is so awesome. It's a $2 million ship, but all it is a shuttle. It doesn't even have guns on it. It's like the ship that Darth Vader moves around on, right? And I guess he thinks that he'll just like, the lightsaber is enough, right? So, and he has an armed detail in the ship, and I'm sure I do too. But the ship itself does not have guns, because I don't think the ship that transports the high Sith or whatever, the Lord or whatever. I don't think the diplomatic crafts usually have guns on them, because why would a diplomat be firing at anyone? Could actually have a diplomatic, incident with if that happens, So I don't think they usually put guns on diplomatic vehicles. I don't think. But I don't know. So badass. Okay, so now we're going back to my. Oh yeah, I have to go get my ore, my ice harvesters first. So let's go do that. Then I'll play some WoW. I did some sorting of my inventory, which is good, and I'll continue to do some more. It's 10 years of loot. It'll take so long. Yeah, get me out of Jita now.
Warp drive active.
God damn. This game's getting a little bit better. I've seen more pop than usual. Fuck yeah, it looks like MMOs are getting a little bit stronger in 2024. Can't wait. MMO's getting better in 2024. Oh yeah.
And providing benefits to
Drink
cooperative
some
play.
water.
Those can still assist.
I have to pee, guys. I'll be right
but
back
it's
to
not
some
even
autopilot.
remotely like what it used to be, because it doesn't have to be. Because we are no longer so starved for the means to connect that we use ICQ and AIM or a friends list in EverQuest or World of Warcraft just to meet up with people. So that's where we end up. All from a little comment from a British streamer who really likes RuneScape and was critical of Neverwinter once. The decline in the social merits of MMOs is largely tied to the increase in the abilities and the ways that we can socialize online outside of MMOs. They no longer serve that purpose of chat room necessarily. You can still get together, you can still be social in games, it's just not the same as it once was, because there are too many other avenues that make it in a lot of ways much easier to connect. And this has merged in together with the continued push in MMOs towards basically task lists to complete while in game, taking you away from what you would be doing together and setting you at different stages on different parts of the game. You're still meeting the objectives, you're just doing it in a bit of a different way. An MMO has never cared how you spend time in its game. I'm sorry to say that I do not believe that early devs of Variant Interactive and Blizzard were thinking about you making a lifelong friend in their game first and foremost.
Okay, BRB.
They were thinking of how to keep you engaged in the game. And one of the cheapest and easiest ways to do that is through user-generated content, of which socializing is one avenue. But now MMOs have new ways to keep you engaged. This can be accomplished through task completion and access, keeping you in-game longer by providing little breadcrumbs of dopamine for achievements, upgrades, levels, quest completions, etc. The era of the daily login bonus and daily quests means MMOs still keep you on the treadmill. It's just no longer the same treadmill where you talk with your friends while you're on it side by side. Now you do it by sending them a Discord message while they're on an exercise bike. For an MMO to be social in 2023 and beyond, it really comes down to the same thing it does in other games now. Bring friends and want to socialize. The onus is now on you to make the game social, to make it not lonely. And as we've seen, a lot of players just don't care. They're fine with being isolated and alone in the game, because they're still getting a lot of that achievement and that bonus of like the dopamine as they continue to play it. But that's just a theory, a dumbass theory. I don't know, I was trying to do a thing there. But who am I? I'm just a YouTuber who talks about MMOs and RPGs that you watch occasionally. I want to hear from you. Do you think that MMOs are lonely? Do you think the advent of new ways to socialize, new ways to connect with people,
I think people are lonely.
Have essentially
yeah, the modern MMOs, the modern MMOs are not lonely. The people are lonely because the modern MMOs do not force sociality. And when you don't force sociality, you don't have peers, and when you don't have peers, you don't have peer pressure, you don't have peer competition, you don't have peers. You just don't have peers. When you don't force the sociality, like high school or work, I mean, this is how this works. The internet does not promote sociality. High school, work, church, bar, parties, restaurants, something. You got to go somewhere to be social, kind of. You got to go and do it. You got to actually go and do it. It will not be fostered unless they force the sociality, like, oh, I gotta talk to these other people because I'm sitting down at their bar and I truly don't like them, but I love them or whatever, and you talk to them. It's social or whatever, and it's like cool, right? But but at least you yeah, I'm okay.
Autopilot jumping.
Yeah. And so, like, yeah, it's the forced sociality. Now, it sounds wrong, forced, but I mean, that's what needs to happen. The people won't do it themselves. People are wallflowers. There has to be a high school dance or a cotillion, or we used to love parties. I'm throwing 1,000 parties, like parties, something like that. And and just saying. And so force them to level with others, as opposed to going from linear point A to point B. And yeah, sure, maybe it's a boomer dad who only has 2 hours to play every night and has a life and only plays for 10 hours a week or whatever, like Bagon, and that's acceptable. But Bagon would still be a lot happier if he was in a party during those 2 hours, like FFXI, than if he were just still chaining, like, from point A to point B on some kind of stupid ass quest grind. He would still be happier. I know he would. We all would. If you were forced to deal with 5 other people every single time you wanted XP, that's unpleasant, but then it really gets you out there, doesn't it? It forces you to care about others. You form ties, you build guilds. There's a reason to have the guild, is you have a closer social interaction, and you feel like you're closer to certain people, or play just as heavily as they do or whatever. And when it's just, go quest to level 60 and then go join a bunch of toxic people who make fun of you, they just stop, and I don't blame them, and yeah,
that made MMOs so important to that.
So if you were to, at level 5 SoD, you were forced them to party for the 2 hours that they've got, and they're annoyed because they don't like syncing up for parties when they've only got 2 hours. They want to go from point A to point B. Well, my suggestion to you is play BM Hunter or Demo Warlock then, but Demo Warlock and BM Hunter shouldn't be fast. It should be something like 4 times to 10 times slower than if you were in a party. And if that guy really wants to do some solo work in his 2 hours, and he doesn't feel that he can do sociality right now, or doesn't want to, he's doing something real life, doesn't want to do it, then sure, go play a solo class that's built directly around your solo experience, and you can go be part of that 1 in 15 percentile who'd rather be alone than play the other 14 classes that aren't solo, right? And you can go be Beastmaster or BM Hunter if you want. No one cares. No one cares if you're Demo Warlock and you reach 75, like, the same legitimate amount of work as they did, but you just did it solo and it took 4 times as long. No one cares about Beastmaster and FFXI. It's a wonderful... We have a bunch of classes like that. We have Beastmaster. We have RDM Nin. But, I mean, RDM Nin is sort of a cheating thing. But, I mean, the RDM Nin can solo anything in the game. We have... but it's 10 times as long. It takes forever. RDM does no damage, BST does damage, but not any more than a party. It's not going to move any faster than a party, much slower than a party. It die a lot because pets get out of control and stuff. I think pets need to be like what warlocks have, packs, right? Pets should be packs where if you're not paying attention to them, feeding them, you know, healing them after they're hurt and all this stuff and taking care of them, the pet deserts you and attacks you just like Final Fantasy 11 and kills your ass, which makes BST again much slower because you die all the time from reneged pets that hit you when you're low health because you just finished killing the mob low health and your pet reneges because you forgot to feed them or whatever. And that's good emergent gameplay. That's how it would be if you were trying to train a tiger. If you didn't feed the tiger for the 8 hours that you forced to do the tiger battle, he's going to eat you at the end, you know? So
Stargate.
and we've seen this. We've seen FFXI do it successfully. There's the Beastmaster class, there's the Puppet Master class, there is the Summoner class, there is the RDM Ning class, and I'm forgetting one, I think.
Autopilot jumping.
Shio? No, that's it. So yeah, they have 4 pet classes. They work. You can and the caster pet classes, they can all heal, right? So they're really slow. So they can't solo. They do so little damage because all of their mana and all of their spirit is based around heals and... Sorry, my TV in my bedroom reset. If all of their... Oh, I hope that didn't break my OBS, though. Let's just go see. OBS. There we go. Are we good? Are we recording? Yes, we are. Very good. We are 5.5 hours in. I love you guys. So, yes, and so the casters who can heal, they pay the hybrid tax, even though they've got pets. And like Warlock can't heal, and Warlock does not pay the hybrid tax. So Warlock Demo and Hunter cannot heal, and Hunter does not pay the hybrid tax. Hunter and Demo Warlock should have been the only soloable classes in World of Warcraft. And no, I don't believe past level 5 you should have been able to kill a quest by yourself. And yes, I think the pop aggro is bad because you should have a lot of people. Yes, I think the pop aggro should be bad when it's entirely a party because you need enough mobs to pull. And so the rogue pulls and they sap one and pull the other and bring it back. And that's why sap seems so good, is that was what they intended, but that's not what the players did. The players sat there solo. They thought everybody should solo. It's because they're loners in real life. They're losers in real life. They think that everybody needs to be solo for some reason. Nope. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. Ain't nobody wants your loveless, sexless ass telling us how the world works. What the world needs now is lots of touching and fucking, and you being an incel, and how angry you are doesn't really matter to the whole scheme of things. Most of us are happy, and etc. And so we fix WoW and we say past level 5 you cannot solo, and you can always solo, but only mobs that are like 20 levels lower than you, right? Grays. And I'm talking about 20 levels, not 5 or 7. I'm talking about like 20 levels. Like if you're level 40, you should be able to farm level 20 mobs, but it should take you a little while, like Final Fantasy 11, and it should hurt you. It should cost you some time to recover and stuff. Oh, now where am I going? I'm going
Warp drive active.
And yeah, and I lost my train of thought. Damn it. Yeah, and that's what's wrong. It is Blizzard mishandling it, and this is sort of the same problem with all the MMOs. And now I've got other problems where I feel like it really wouldn't have been very hard to sync up co-op on Starfield and actually make the greatest game ever made. You know, and make the mobs harder, and like you had such a good capacity there to turn something like Fallout 4 into something next gen. You know. And you didn't, because you made it solo, and you perpetuated, was the word I've been looking for a lot lately. Is perpetuated is the word I've been looking for lately, and I keep messing up. Denied. Can I at least open cargo deposit? No. Why is that taking so fucking long? Am I disconnected? What happened there? What? I did. I'm DC'd? Oh, there we go. Maybe I did. I don't know. Some kind of hiccup. Sorry.
kind of obsolete.
And then everybody else, right? I wouldn't ever diss a healer like these modern Western pieces of shit on WoW do. They want to attack the healer. I wouldn't have ever. I've never attacked a healer in my fucking life. I had a Final Fantasy 11 player do that to me, and I embarrassed his ass and ate him out live in front of 3,000 fucking people. I was like, don't you ever speak to a fucking healer like that. Because a healer, right, who's been around this long, they don't, it's not like they do damage or tank. That's all they do is heal, right? And so if anybody willing to sit there and not do damage or have fun, who just want to get you through, right? Anybody willing to do that is somebody that you should probably make the social, nod to, and at least be respectful with when you speak to, But instead, like the modern WoW ways is just to be toxic to fucking everybody. I don't know, man.
Do you feel like you have to bring your friends to the MMO instead of finding your friends in it? My name is Edward Flynn. Thank you so much for watching, and a special thank you to the members here on YouTube, the people over on
my
Patreon.
problem is I can easily make friends. Never had a problem with that. That's not something I would ever say. I've never been friendless. Oh, even now I'm not friendless. I wish I was, but I'm not. So like understand. Not friendless. And my thing is I don't want these people. I don't want them. Like, I want them in my channel. I don't want to spend all day playing video games with them. I'd rather be on my own. That's okay. That's my choice, rather be alone when I'm doing games, it just is. It's part of my Asperger's personality and stuff. But in real life, I like sociality a lot. And I tend to be the life of the party and the center of attention.
On people subscribing over on Twitch, I really appreciate.
But no, I don't feel that need of I don't feel need to talk to video game players at all. I don't have a desire to. I don't turn my Discord on each day. I like it in my channel because it's my job, but I don't like it. I don't like it in the games. What I do want in the games is, hi, I'm your healer. How you guys doing? Oh, hi, I'm your tank. I'm spec for I don't know, some WoW thing, by the way. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's good. I don't mind. I'll run HOTS and stuff, and I'll change my runes here. And the tank goes, oh, the warlock's AFK. They went to the bathroom, and we're waiting for the rogue. We're waiting for the rogue to run and go get bullets, right? And that's the talking that I want. That's the talking that I want. Not, my pussy smells so bad that my dog barks at it. That was the guy I got banned today. You know what I'm saying? That's sociality to your ass, right? Like gaming sociality to me. I'm sorry, sociality to me doesn't happen in gaming. Gaming is for strategy conversations. If you hang around a Discord long enough that you form a social connection with, that's wonderful. Maybe you even marry the person. That's lucky. That's good. But I posit that could happen anywhere. I don't think the game's led to it. I posit that could happen anywhere. If you strike up a true connection with somebody, sure, VoIPs are good for that. It helps with that. It's not bad. But I would posit that chance is pretty true of almost anywhere. Games don't help supply sociality, not really. Now, if you're nice to somebody because you need to be in the party chat because things do need to be communicated, like the Reapers in the back line or something like that, and you strike up friendships with people and you start playing with them more and more, and suddenly you look up 2 years later and you've got a whole crew on a guild and you all look out for each other's, and you're like each other's homies and you love each other like a clan, like my Rust clan and all that. All that's well and good, but I still don't need that. I had that all of my life and I frankly don't want it. I still don't need that. That's all well and good, and if it blossoms to that, sure, love it, great. But I still don't need or want it. It's different. I think for a lot of these people, they do. They were not socially surrounded by people their entire fucking life, to the point where they literally were causing like snafus with their crew over kicking. I have had so many snafus with my crew for straight up kicking people out of my house because I just had too many people there. I couldn't fucking rest. I couldn't sleep. Couldn't jack off or go to the bathroom or eat. There was just like 5 people on my fucking couch or whatever, like, dude, like, trust me, it was always the opposite for me. I've been looking to kick people out of my life for a long time. So like, so like, okay, so what I play games for is that party sociality where it's like, yeah, the tank's AFK, the priest is AFK as well, the rogue went to go get bullets, and we're gonna be pulling crabs and birds. I'm spec for this, And I'm wondering if you're using Ingrowth or Rejuvenation, right, or something, or whatever rune. Which rune are you using, right? That's the kind of MMO chatter I fucking cherish with all of my love and all of my heart, right? I love that shit. I love that shit. That's good. It's good RPG sociality. I don't think internet sociality is good sociality. It's why I don't like phone calls. It's why I don't usually hang out in Discords anymore. I liked it for the first 10 years of it, but now it feels like just another fucking responsibility to me that ends badly, or it just falls apart in the end due to just people moving on with their lives and all this, which is always more tragedy than I like. So these days I pull away from that, and I don't look for the internet for my sociality. I'm far more likely to pull into a bar, order a beer, and try to fuck the girl in my car than I am to go turn on a Discord. A lot more. You understand me? Like, I'm sorry, but I do not look for for MMOs being social. Yeah, they're anti-social because they don't promote forced sociality anymore like they used to. So they're anti-social. They're trying to kill people's social lives. Absolutely, they actively try to remove it from the gameplay. It gets you just doing the gameplay only, right? But I mean, like, yeah, like, honestly, if you didn't need to look to the internet for your sociality, MMOs maybe wouldn't feel so lonely to you. Frankly, most of the time I'm thinking about how this guy's competition and he took my cat. You know what I'm saying?
Closer and closer.
If you have a family and a life and you lived like a party animal your whole life, you might actually like look at it differently. Like, they're not failing us socially. They might have failed the forced sociality test and destroy their games and kill what the heart and soul of MMORPGs actually is, which is forced sociality. But they, but they didn't suffer. The concept, the game itself did not suffer, and the experience did not suffer. They might have failed at that, but the game did not suffer. So it's like, yeah, forced sociality is good. Social media is bad. Forced sociality through party chat is good. Discord is bad. Not bad, but living on a Discord all day with friends that you don't see in the real world is bad, I think. And I think it's better that you just live solo and lonely than to fill your life with false sociality that isn't actually truly in your life when you need it. You're going to have a better time when you realize that all your friends are a Rust clan or whatever, and that none of them actually live in the same quadrant as you, much less state. You begin to understand that those people aren't going to hug you when you crash your car by mistake or kill your dog or something. They're not going to care if you're puking drunk. They're not going to fuck you. If they do, it's digital. They're not going to, they're not going to fly to come meet you. They're not, I mean, they're good people in your lives, and I'm not saying that VoIP sociality is bad. It's not, it's good. But I want it in the game, and I want it forced, and I want to be forced to talk to people to get anything done. And I think a lot of games have forced experiments of like trying to force us to be social, like ESO, where they didn't have party chat on PlayStation 4. You had to use the microphone if you wanted to talk to someone else. And I think that was a brilliant, genius, really beautiful, genius thing Bethesda did. It didn't work because the toxic people who are stuck in the loop, who aren't forced to socialize with other people, dominate the voice chat because they're unhappy. They're trolls, right? And the voice chat died. But if the people were happy because they were partying with people and meeting new people every day and being in a 6-man, party for 3 hours, and you meet a girl for once, who's interested in being there because they're getting party play and they're having a social party time. Like, I've never met a girl who liked playing MMOs that didn't have fucking forced sociality, for instance. I don't know any. I know girls who like Final Fantasy 14 because of the skins, but I don't know any girl. I guess I know a couple girls who like Rust for the emergence gameplay and stuff. But most girls that I know only play forced sociality MMOs like EQ. To a lesser degree, classic WoW, and to a much greater degree, like Rust and FFXI, and and the girls that I have met that I respected in the video game scene in the last 5 years, they were looking for forced sociality like me. The girls like forced sociality. I do too. It forces us to get to know each other. It's a good icebreaker. If the guy's racist, maybe you can kind of change his mind about it, or at least show him that you're more decent than him by not engaging in it and all this other shit. But like overall, like, you running from point A to point B like I'm doing right now in a quest is worthless. It's like worthless. It does not benefit me or you or any of that. Oh, nobody died because I was here, or everybody would have died. What happened here? What happened here? This heal button needs to be higher. It's blocked. I'm out of mana. Mail, not bad. And milk sucks now. Smoked sagefish. I think I could get that maybe. I don't. No, it'll take so long. Oh, I have one over there too.
Do this full time, and I cannot say how it means so much to me, and I really appreciate it. So thank you so much.
Yeah, I love doing this full time. I want to thank you guys for enabling me to do it. And I know you're enablers, but thank you for enabling me to in my drug addiction. Thank you so much. I really feel honored too that I get to do this. It's like the best thing that's ever happened to me in my second best thing that's ever happened to me in my whole life. The other one remains to be seen.
I freaking love doing this. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day.
Am I going somewhere else here? I am looking for rabbit thistlebearers. Okay. But, oops. But where am I on this map? I don't really see myself. Oh, could die doing that. Don't do that. No Morlock, huh? Uh-oh. Is he dying? Yes, he is. Oh, I didn't make it. Sorry, man. I don't have res. Why did my target go away? Oh, okay. That's why. So... Well, I like the tooltip. It's much better. That's smarter. Yeah. So, where am I? Oh, there I am. There I am. Okay. So, I have a turn in way over east, which is why I came down here. Okay. I like this one. He really... Oh, here. Let's see what he says about this. Ah, yes. Yeah. Okay.
Pretty divisive, isn't it?
Thank you, Redbeard Flim, for the excellent content on our channel. I have been your 673rd like, and thank you so much.
MMO Bomb dropped an article earlier this month titled, "Yep, I'm officially worried about the future of Pantheon now." This has created a firestorm around Pantheon, and to be completely honest with you, rightly so. I'm gonna be straight up with you in this video at the outset. I'm probably gonna be a bit more frustrated and negative in this video than some other creators have been. And it's because I'm frustrated. But it also doesn't mean that I've given up on Pantheon as an MMO. I haven't. In fact, I still think that the MMO will potentially eventually launch. I'm just much more concerned about it now than I was before. And it has more to do with the things in between the lines instead of the actual big elephant in the room. And that is basically the fact that Pantheon needs money. I wanted to wait for Visionary Realms to get their message out before making a video on the subject, so after confirming we'd be hearing from them on the 26th, I knew it was worth waiting because when it comes to crowdfunding and independent games, the reaction to a firestorm from a company is sometimes as important as the actual reason for it. Before we get too far into this, let's discuss what exactly caused all the frustration and concern with Pantheon, why I personally have a problem with it, their response, and then hopefully end with some kind of positive here, as is the nature of this channel, right? We could all use a little bit of positivity. I'm wearing the Grogu hat because I'm sparing you the negativity of my really bad hair day right now, and also because Grogu's cute. The article from MMO Bomb and the producer's letter from Visionary Realms both focus on a mode within Pantheon called 247. Just mentioning this immediately summons the ghosts of Ashes of Creation's Apocalypse, Star Citizen Squadron 42, Final Stand Ragnarok, and whatever the hell Chronicles of Lyria was trying to pull. I'm not trying to use this video as a seance for dead projects, but we still have to at least kind of talk about those. Project 247 sounds like Visionary Realms is following a similar path to other crowdfunded MMOs, a path that by and large has completely and utterly exploded in the faces of those games to the point of refunds and apologies. Therein lies the first problem. Pantheon is doing something that will be perceived deeply negatively from the moment that it is announced. And until this past CitizenCon, I would have suggested it might be an impossible task to spin this into a positive. But I guess almost $500 million and Mark Hamill can do a lot for spin.
Tell me you're expecting company.
This is not good.
But these are two things that Pantheon does not have. Anytime a project is seen to be taking their eye off the ball and moving in a different direction, people are going to feel wronged in some way. This is doubly so if you haven't invested in the project. And I don't mean just monetarily. I'm talking about invested your time as well. It invested your hopes, your dreams, whatever it may be. And that's one thing I want to take a moment here to talk about. The person who spent $1,000 on Pantheon years ago and then never bothered to look back, they probably care less than the person who invested 50 and has been watching the project day by day by day. It's kind of the same way you think about your favorite MMO, your favorite RPG, your favorite fandom, like if you like Star Wars or if you like Lord of the Rings or something like that. You get invested in it. It becomes a part, a very small part still, but a part of your personality. So when something goes wrong, or at least is perceived as going wrong, there are personal feelings attached to that. And I want everyone watching this right now to take a moment and really just kind of think about that this is a small sliver of people's personality, their investment or non-investment in this gaming project. their hope of a game that will capture the things that they miss from games that they loved when they were a kid. It's not just simply, oh, well, at least I didn't back that, or I'm really sad that I backed that, or I'm really hopeful that I backed it. The people who are feeling either happy or upset with this news are both valid. It's why so many of us feel so strongly about it. It's why so many of you are watching this video right now, because you care. Not necessarily about me, but you care about the game. You care about its future or lack thereof, depending on where you're falling. Whether after this announcement or several other announcements with Pantheon, you are vehemently opposed to the game, or if you are a staunch, strong supporter of the game still, you are valid in those feelings. And I want to just please say, like, don't be a dick in the comment section. Be nice to each other. There's no need to go at each other. So there's my little plea for civility. Please be nice to each other. Don't be a dick on the internet. There's enough of those. Back to 247 and the announcement. It makes sense if you're upset. If you were promised A and then you put money and or time toward A, but now they're taking their time to make B before finishing A, people are going to be pretty mad. And I believe that Visionary Realms is keenly aware of this. And that's actually my biggest concern. It's not 247. It's the fact that they needed this in the first place. But we'll get to that in a little bit when we talk about their response. I don't think there is a way to spin this as openly positive no matter what. I have been critical on this channel of other MMOs diverging into distraction territory. It's a running joke at this point how many times I bring up the disaster of Asher Creation that was Apocalypse. Something I think they'd like us all to forget, but I never will. As well as attempts by Camelot Unchained, Chronicles of Illyria, and Star Citizen to spin off funding into single player games. So it'd be disingenuous of me to not be critical here too, just because I like Pantheon and I want it to succeed.
Stargate.
I am critical. I do not like this. I do not like this move at all. I see it as a net negative for Pantheon, and I see it as one of the things that I see both the net negative of them doing it in the first place as well as needing to do it in the first place. But I also want to point out something that has kind of been a frustration for me, not necessarily just with Pantheon, but with all of these Kickstarted MMOs, with the exception of Chronicles of Illyria, because just keep that game over here. All these MMOs that have been worked on for 5 or 10 years, people, small teams normally, 10, 20, 30 people, that have been putting their time into those games, that have been earnestly trying to make a game that is incredibly difficult. I don't think a lot of us really consider the scope of an MMO and just how much goes into it, and how much work goes into it, and how much money goes into it. And I think potentially some of these companies that spun up to create MMOs using Kickstarter without a publisher didn't necessarily consider that too. And that's where we get to, you know, in about a decade from the original Kickstarter era that was, and that's a larger subject, but I covered that in another video that I'll link down below if you're interested. But the thing that comes up with these a lot is people call them scams. And to me, that's inaccurate, because scam would be having ill intent from the beginning, having ill intent of trying to scam people out of money. Basically, whatever Logan Paul's next project is, I don't see this as being the same thing. I see you can call things failures, but I don't think you can call them scams. But I'm certain there will be at least like 15 comments that say it's a scam. But I think that is just a personal gripe of mine. I don't see putting 5 to 10 years of your own life into a project, whether, like, I can't see that being a scam, you know? I mean, for me, all I have to do is look at Fractured Online, a game that will maybe not do well, I'm not sure yet, but they have a team that has been, once they broke from Game-A-Go, they've been essentially working on the game for free because they want to make the game. They believe in the game. There are passionate people that are working on these projects. There are people that want the games to release, and they obviously want them to be successful. Would you really want on your resume, oh yeah, I spent 10 years working on a scam? I mean, no, like, obviously not. But I'll get off my soapbox and we'll get back to the actual subject of hand, which is Pantheon and 247.
Stargate.
So what is 247 exactly? Well, according to Visionary Realms, 247 is a mode in Pantheon that can be run 24/7, hence the name. I think many of us, myself included, thought 24/7 testing meant the current pre-alpha build of the MMO. And in this sense, I think Visionary Realms dropped the ball with what appears to be, at best, an accidentally misleading name, at worst, false advertising, because at least my reading of it back then was that this was going to be the persistent world, always on pre-alpha. 247 is a way to play Pantheon with a significant twist. Players begin in Tazrin's Gaze, grab tasks from one of 11 watchers to build faction, and then enter a timed instance of Pantheon. Players can choose either a PvE or PvP instance mission. Once in Terminus, they can either focus on the task given or simply spend their time exploring, grouping, gathering for crafting, or otherwise playing Pantheon as they so choose. But they must keep an eye on the timer and make it to the extraction point without dying, or they risk losing their gear. If they do die, a fallen player's corpse can be looted by others. This play mode creates a sense of urgency and real danger. Sounds okay, I guess? Kind of? I can actually see this potentially being fun, but also maybe a little boring. I don't know yet. I think at least if nothing else, this alleviates some of the concerns of this being kind of like a reskin of Dark and Darker. Basically Dark and Darker, but Pantheon. That is not what this sounds like to me at all. It's almost kind of like you took like a portion of the MMO. Like you have the whole journey of the MMO, and you take part of it and lift it up and create it into its own game. And in that, you have to you have to kind of cauterize the wounds of that, cut off the wounds, and you do that in 247 by creating like the tower that you have, that you take your missions in, the portals and things like that. So, but the main basis of it is essentially this chunk of the MMO. And that's why I think when I was talking about this, I don't see this as much as like the same kind of thing as Ashes of Creation with Apocalypse, which essentially did create an entirely new game. A game that really had nothing to do with Ashes of Creation, and then told everybody that it was.
My God, Ashes looks bad. Or is it? I mean, they both look bad. If this is Ashes, it looks bad. If it's what game is this? If it's Pantheon, it looks worse.
This just really feels like create something from something with minor changes. Yeah. And the funny thing is, if this was being announced by itself, if this was just, hey, there's this new kind of a RPG type thing we're gonna try. It's kind of like you take an MMO experience, truncate it, and put it in like a 1 to 2 hour session, and then make it lobby based. And I want to see like, how does that work out? Do you enjoy that type of gameplay style? I might actually be just making a video about this upcoming game that has a novel approach, if it was happening in a vacuum. The problem is, it's not happening in a vacuum. This is happening in an MMO that has been in development for years. It is happening with the big shadow that the reason for it has to be they need money. They need some sort of funding to continue working on the MMO. The one silver lining I'll put here, and we'll get more into it in the positives here, is because of this, because it sounds so much just like a chunk of Pantheon, I don't really see this impacting the development of Pantheon that much.
God, is it this hard to make MMOs look okay?
It really does not.
I mean, I don't know. From what I saw from the Unreal 6 showcase,
Autopilot
what kids can do for free now look like 100 times better than this. It looks like they mismanaged or don't know how to do graphics at all. Because, like, dude, I saw what they can do with just Fortnite, and it's a lot better than this. Like creative mode Fortnite.
Warp drive active.
that much.
I feel like they could take the same dream to creative mode Fortnite and make their own game, and it would look better than this. You know what I'm saying? Oh. No, I'm good. Thank you, though. No, thank you.
Additional work. It doesn't seem like they're making. I feel like they're actually being honest when they're calling it a mode. It's a mode, not a new game. It really feels that way. Now, granted, they have talked about potentially spinning it off into its own thing if the market says that they want that. But it does, right? At least right now,
Autopilot
it
jumping.
feels like it's just part of Pantheon that's been lifted up and removed from the rest of it. But there is another part of the producer's letter that I actually did appreciate
Warping
in how
started.
kind of upfront they
Warp
are.
drive
It is
active.
a worry for me. It is probably the biggest worry for me, period. More so than just the 247 thing. And like I said, it's the need for 247. Let's get into two different quotes from the producer's letter and kind of break it down a little bit. As we continue to gather feedback, we have also given some more serious thought to the question that many will ask upon reading this. Do we intend to sell 247 as a standalone title? The answer to that is a solid maybe. While we are absolutely preparing for that option, we are still
Approaching
gathering information from our players and from the market before we make a final decision. That is something I wanted to hear from them in this letter and why I waited for the letter, as is this next part. Crowdfunding in general
Autopilot
has its
jumping.
peaks and valleys, and crowdfunding for Pantheon is currently slowing. It's not time to panic, particularly since crowdfunding isn't the only funding fueling Pantheon, but it's an example of how development funded in this way tends to take much longer than other funding methods. If crowdfunding continues to slow, we cannot bring on new staff, and the velocity of the project reflects that. If funding increases and stays peaked, then velocity speeds up. We feel, as do a lot of our followers, that we need to find ways to speed the project up. 247 is a potential way to do that. This is why seeing 247 and knowing that Visionary Realms must know just how much backlash they were going to get for this,
Approaching
having
Stargate.
seen it happen over and over again with other Kickstarted MMOs that have really had to like backtrack, apologize, give refunds because it pissed off so many people, that I think that they were just at a point where they had to make that difficult decision. And that is that need to make that decision. Again, that is my concern. Why did they have to? Money. Pantheon has never boasted the same kind of funding as games like Ashes of Creation and Star Citizen, or even Camelot Unchained, which is still somehow pulling in $15 million investments. Compare that to the announcement from 2022, which put total investment in Pantheon at about $5.34 million. And there's a big discrepancy. Note that that is not all of the funding Pantheon has, as the number does not include any of the crowdfunding, as stated in the July 2022 producer's letter. In all of these cases, except Star Citizen though, those are shoestring budgets for an MMO in 2023. I mean, holy shit. Star Wars The Old Republic reportedly cost $200 million to make over 6 years with 800 staff. That's not an excuse for these games, Kickstarter crowdfunded games. It's more perspective. And why in the other video about them, I was kind of theorizing, like, is it even possible to make a crowdfunded game? And that brings the question to everyone's mind who invested their personal capital in Pantheon. What's going to happen to the MMO going forward? And honestly, we don't know. So is it time to panic? Yes and no. To make a move like this is not a sign of health or a healthy project. It's a sign of need. At least as far as where I'm sitting. There's some YouTuber on here that has no idea of the inner workings of these projects.
Approaching Stargate.
Development of Pantheon is getting long in the tooth, and they know that. The game is getting to a point where it's starting to feel outdated. And I think that that's something that they're recognizing and seeing, and that's pretty evident with the two most recent announcements. The art changed from realistic style, not super realistic, but kind of realistic style in a dark
Moving to
tone,
Stargate.
and
Warp
to
drive active.
the more cartoony, more easy to produce art style that did give Pantheon its own kind of look that has, you know, been referred to as kind of Fortnite-esque. But at least the reasoning for that was essentially given that it speeds things up. It makes it easier and faster to get things done. And that kind of makes sense. They're at a point where they need to. It was also an art style because they were realizing, I think, that the
Approaching
art that they
Stargate.
were planning on in 2014, 2015, 16 doesn't work as well in 2022 or 2023, 2025. It's one of those interesting things where an MMO being in
Autopilot
development
jumping.
long enough to see art styles change, kind of like what, you know, if EverQuest 2 had been in development longer, they would have been able to see that their art style didn't age perhaps as well as others.
Warp drive
But it's also
active.
this new announcement of 247 and this obvious like admission of need of funding, and that you know, crowdfunding is slowing for Pantheon and they're still a long way off from completing the game. I think is just this realization of where they're at. I mean, why else at this stage of Pantheon's development would they be
Approaching
making
Stargate.
this choice to consider this kind of secondary project to try and find some source of funding for the game, knowing that it's not worked for other places?
Autopilot
Backers of
jumping.
Ashes of Creation prefer not to mention Apocalypse, or Tamala Unchained is struggling with mountains of refund requests. Chronicles of Illyrium has basically just fallen under tons and tons of lawsuits. And none of those games, beyond everything else, have proven financially successful. None of those secondary projects have done the thing that they took the PR hit to do. And that, I think, is the biggest concern. That even with this PR hit, is it going to work? The only one that feels like it might potentially work is Squadron 42, and yet it feels like they don't need that money anyway. Some of these other games have tried to find other
Approaching
ways
Stargate.
to make up for lack of funding, like Azure Creation having different cosmetic skins for mounts and pets in their backer packages, and basically finding other ways to sell access. Star Citizen, for the longest time, has been selling items in-game, ships in-game that are earnable in-game, but still been selling the in-game ships for people for a game that is not released, and after playing it
For
recently,
$500.
is not a damn MMO. They
Warp drive
100% server is not an MMO, but that's an entirely different video. And of course, with a lot of my audience, they're going to look at EverQuest Next and EverQuest Landmark and the sale of Founders Packs, and how Landmark eventually did launch and then was unceremoniously closed, how EverQuest Next was just canceled. But that's the